Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. Sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and get back and get back and get grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dash Nerds podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 193 of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm your host, as always. I am Tyler, and joining me, we have the Colonel himself. We have Gables. How you doing, buddy?
Oh man, I'm doing all right. Just relaxing after a long, stressful week of work. But other than that, though, I've been playing a lot of Wii U.
Oh, nice.
But how have you been?
Very cool. I'm doing pretty good, actually. The last 6 weeks or so, we've been at my work. We're working 70-hour weeks, Monday through Saturday. I got a little lucky this week, and some things happened, and I got a 4-day weekend, so I got Friday and Monday off this weekend. So I went from having no free time for the last 6 weeks to having so much free time that I don't know what to do with all this free time. So I'm I got 50 things I want to do that I haven't done, and now I just kind of stand there and stare at the 50 different options I have and just am doing nothing. But also joining me, we have Troy joining us once again. How are you, buddy?
What's the business? I'm doing okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem of excess time. In fact, I actually adjusted my streaming schedule this week. I cut a couple days off. I was streaming for 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, and I know I had mentioned it in last week's podcast, but I feel like there's a tidal wave just coming at me, and I know that I'm going to get overwhelmed sooner or later, and I just felt like I needed to cut that commitment down. So I'm down to streaming Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and hopefully that'll hold for the time being. I really enjoy having that time to stream. I think that's about the only opportunity I actually get to play video games, but school comes first. Priorities, man.
Yeah. What's the channel you stream on? You can go and check that out.
Oh, it's twitch.tv/provengamer. So yeah.
Very cool. I forgot to mention something. We were talking about a little bit before the show about I was looking at a new mic. Yeah. I lied. I already bought a mic. So I bought it today. Yesterday was payday. So it went a little crazy. I bought some stuff. I bought a new Blue Yeti mic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I bought the arm for it, so I can actually I got the new computer desk, so I have a lot more room on it. So I got that coming. That'll be here on Monday. It's Saturday night, by the way.
I need a computer desk with more room on it.
I need a new computer.
I was using a TV stand, and then I got a nice, really long, probably 3 foot long computer desk, solid wood. So I have I had a little laptop now. I have a dual monitor set up, and so I got that coming. And I also bought a new monitor. So I have a nice 27-inch Asus monitor that's LED, and I have this old 8-year-old Gateway as my second monitor. It looks really bad. Mm-hmm. So I just bought a second 24-inch Asus monitor. Oops. So now I have a couple. There's one upside to working 70 hours a week is you have a little extra money. So you buy. The more you make, the more you spend. So.
Oh, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah. So I got some cool shit coming. I spent a lot of money today on some stuff.
I've got a fairly decent sized desk. I mean, it's probably 3 or 4 inches or 3 or 4 feet wide, and then it's got the kind of the thing that goes over the top with, drawers, not drawers, but cabinets, I guess you would call them, on either side. And it's got and it's got a little shelf area in the middle that I've actually taken the middle shelf off, and then it's got the same basic width on top, that you can but I've got a single monitor on the desk, which is my 23-inch. It's the PlayStation 3D monitor that they had. I don't know if you are familiar with that.
They come with the PS3.
Yeah, so that's what I use as my PC monitor. It actually does okay. It has this thing where from time to time it'll the screen will go black for a second or two, and it's completely random when it'll do it. But when it's working, and I mean it's not been an issue too bad. Like, you know, if I'm playing a game, like, it'll black out on me for a second, but I've never been in a position where it's like, oh crap, your leg's totally screwed me up. I just know, okay, well, it'll come back on in a second. But I mean, the image on it's really good. I got it from a friend for like $60 when I built my PC, because I kind of put all my money into the actual PC build and I didn't have a monitor for it. So he sold it to me for $60. It's definitely worth $60.
Oh, damn.
So that's on there. But then I've got surrounding it, like, I have a problem with figures. I have figures and amiibo everywhere. On next to the monitor here off to the left side, I've got a bunch of different anime figures. I've got a Batman figure. I've got the collector's edition Street Fighter 5 figure. I've got the little red arm that came with Metal Gear Solid 5 collector's edition. In the little cubby hole over my head, I've got a little Batman Nindroid and the Batman statue that came with the collector's edition of Batman Arkham City. I've got the Vault Tech bobblehead from Fallout 3 Collector's Edition. I've got a ton of amiibo there. And then on the shelf above my head, I have the life-size portal gun on its display stand. Surrounding that, I have a stuffed companion cube and a stuffed Batman. I've got a paintball mask. In the middle is the Joker statue from the Batman Arkham Knight Collector's Edition, which is pretty dope. It's got the TVs behind him that actually light up. Above that, I have a Manga Spawn action figure still in its like blister pack. Behind the portal gun, there's actually the movie Spawn action figure still in its box. Also next to the right of the Arkham Knight statue is the giant Titanfall 2 Collector's Edition statue with the big Titan and all the guys on it. That's
sweet.
dope as hell. Lined up at the base of my monitor, I've got the 3 different colors of Yoshi amiibo.
I have all 4 of them, and I just bought Poochie. So
Well, and then on top of that, on top of my PC, on top of my case, I've got the Bishuju statues for Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. They're female versions of them.
Oh.
And then also Lady Deadpool, the Bishuju
Nice.
Kotobukiya statue. So those are all on top of my PC case. And then across the way, I have the little Super Mario amiibo stand that's got the like the end stage, you know, where you're jumping up to get to the flag.
Yep.
And I've got amiibo on every step of that, different various amiibo. And then today I just purchased a 1/55th scale Mad Cat mech from the BattleTech series that went out of production like 15 years ago. And so I've been trying to find one, and I got one on eBay. I spent $80 on it. But yeah, now I got to find a place to put that. But that's going to be dope as hell.
nice.
I think I covered it all.
Yeah, I was never really big into collecting anything. Like as I got older, like I had a shit ton of like wrestlers and Transformers and shit when I was a kid. But Justin, like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever Amiibo came out, he got an extra Luigi, and Luigi's always been my favorite Nintendo character. So he gave me it brand new in a box, and that kind of caused like a snowball effect, I guess.
Yep. Yep.
So now I have
That's an understatement.
probably about 60 Amiibo. And then
Mine started. I actually found a Yoshi amiibo at a like a thrift store for like $2.
Yep.
And I was like, oh hey, that's a good deal. So I bought the Yoshi amiibo. But yeah, that was the start of it. And now I think I'm at like 15 or 20 amiibo.
Yeah. I went for a while there. I was just buying every one I could find, and then like I was started buying the Animal Crossing ones, and when that happened, I'm like, all right, I'm gone too far. Like I need to slow down.
When I'm
now
buying amiibo for characters I don't even care about,
I've never heard of before. Like,
I've gone too far.
Yeah, I don't even play Animal Crossing, so now I just
I
buy the one. I just buy the
I
ones
have
I
Tom Nook, and he's actually kind of right behind him on either side is the owls that run. The one runs the museum, and I don't know what the
Blathers.
female one does. Yeah, Blathers. But Tom Nook standing in front, almost like because there's the whole image of Tom Nook as this like mafia, mafioso dude who's just out to get your money. He's running a racket, So Tom Nook's there, and he's got his muscle behind him, and it's pretty dope.
Nice.
Oh man.
Other than like, sorry, one last thing.
Okay.
Other than that, the only other like collector thing I have is I bought the $120 collector edition for Last Guardian. I have the Toriko statue,
Cool.
which is probably my favorite thing ever, outside of my dog. So go ahead, Gables.
Well, other than like collections of like some of the games and systems that I've got, though, I've got, I kid you not, I got a complete set of the Naruto manga from volumes 1 through, I think it was like 73 or something like that they had for manga volumes. I started collecting those like around the time that I was going to high school, since the anime and the manga started airing, like going through the US like around, by the time I was like a sophomore, back around 2004, 2005 or so like that. And it kind of sort of started with me going through like this mall and stuff, where I actually found a bookshop that sold actual like shonen manga. So I went ahead and I got a couple of volumes of that. And that kind of led to me over the span of 10 years going through and collecting bits and pieces of the Naruto manga, like the volumes and stuff, from either going to places like Walmart and actually finding legit like volumes of that stuff, going through to going to thrift stores and finding a couple extra volumes that I didn't even know that were available. And then all of a sudden it's like I finished up the entirety of it like around, oh man, just like a year or so ago. And that was just crazy. But other than that, though, it's like I've got a couple amiibo figures as well. Like maybe not to the extent of maybe what Tyler has gotten, but I only collect the ones that I really like to have. So I got like I got the Mario, I got the Pikachu, I got the Kirby, and then I got like about all these Legend of Zelda figures that I had. The only ones that I don't have that it's like Zelda related now is like the twin set of like the Toon Link and Toon Zelda and the 8-bit one
Got him.
of Link.
Yeah.
And then they got new ones coming out for Breath of the Wild, too.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a big Zelda fan.
Got them pre-ordered. Yeah. I've got all of these Zelda ones, Pokemon ones, Mario ones that are out, and I think that's really it right now. Like, and then all the Yoshis that you can buy. I got all 5 Yoshis. It's 6 Yoshis if you include Poochie. So
I think one of the more shining little pieces of my collection is back around the time before I went into high school and stuff. I went into this Big Lots store that was inside of like a town over or something like that. And I ended up finding these random Nintendo plushes and stuff, and one of them was Banjo-Kazooie. And I still have that Banjo-Kazooie plush along with like DK and Bowser and like the Mario things. It's like around I was 12.
That's pretty dope.
I know. I never see hardly any type of Banjo-Kazooie like little plushies and stuff, and I have the Bear and the Bird. You know, it's really cool looking too. But they're still pretty.
I picked up a little sad Sackboy action figure that my wife has actually hijacked, and she has it sitting on her desk.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, I got the plush companion cube from Portal that my wife got me the same year because it was a Valentine's present. The same year she made. So you guys are familiar with Jonathan Colton, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And the song Skull Crusher Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorite lines in any song ever is the one where he's like, "I made a half pony, half monkey monster to please you." So she went and she found she bought a stuffed My Little Pony and a little stuffed gorilla. And she literally cut both of these stuffed animals in half and sewed them together. So I have a half pony, half monkey monster sitting
That
on
is
my
awesome.
desk, which is dope as hell.
That is pretty sweet.
That's some awesome dedication.
She made a half pony, half monkey monster to please me.
That's if I were you, I'd put another ring on that. So lock that down twice. But anyways, you know what? I was thinking, since Troy, you're kind of new to the show, and the people have been listening to us for Gabe and I for almost 4 years now, Justin for almost 2 years now, actually. I figured every week, or for a little bit, anyways, ask you a couple questions, get to know you a little better, if you don't mind.
Cool. Yeah, no doubt.
One, I think we're going to kind of do like game related. One, a little more, not too personal, but outside of the gaming realm.
Yeah, cool.
If you don't want to answer it, that's fine.
I mean, I already described my entire podcast studio, but yeah, no, go ahead.
So what we're going to do, we need you to send us a dick pic. That's actually a personal question.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, so kind of for the gaming question, what are the games you're most excited for coming out this year?
So definitely Breath of the Wild and the Switch. I'm really looking forward to that. When that comes out Friday on the 3rd.
Yep.
Right? March 3rd? Yeah, so on the 8th or the 9th, I fly out of El Paso, Texas to fly to New York City to go to PAX East for like 4 or 5 days and then fly back. So I've got plenty of opportunity there to test out the portability and all that about the Switch. So I'm really excited about that. Another game that I'm super psyched about that's kind of related to the fact that, like I said, I had this sickness and I ordered this mech from the Battletech series. Harebrained Schemes is a indie studio based in Seattle that they have recreated the Shadowrun games. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I've heard of them, yes.
Yeah, so it's like a kind of like a weird mix of like cyberpunk and like high fantasy. So like you've got like hackers and stuff like that, but you've also got like orcs and elves and like magic, and so it's a really cool melding of that. And it's basically the company Harebrained Schemes is created and owned by the people who created and started FOSSA, which was a company that created Shadowrun and also the Battletech IPs way back in the day. So these guys are the ones who invented the Battletech and Shadowrun, which started out as like tabletop RPG, kind of games like that. Miniatures is what Battletech really was. But so they have created this video game studio, and they've actually gotten licensed to create digital video game versions of the games that they created all those years ago. And so I kickstarted their Battletech games, which they're putting out this year. It's basically a turn-based strategy game, but it's basically the tabletop version of Battletech, where you'd have the miniatures with the hex grids and all that jazz, pen and paper, and it's the digital version of that, which I'm super psyched about. Like I can't tell you how excited I am for that game to come out. Because I mean, that's kind of like all the things. I love mechs and I love turn-based strategy. That's probably if I had to pick a certain genre of video game that's probably my favorite, I would definitely pinpoint on turn-based strategy. So it's kind of scratches all those itches. And then as in high school, I completely got into the Battletech like world. Like I was reading the novels and I would just like completely immersed myself in the Battletech lore and everything like that. So I'm super excited for this game. And I'm trying to think of any other games that are coming out. You guys... Yeah, I mean, I think that about covers it. I mean, there's probably some other ones that I'm somewhat psyched about. I'm interested in Horizon Zero Dawn. I wouldn't say I've bought into the hype train, but I'm optimistic about it. Even also the Ghost Recon game that's coming out that they just had the beta for. Wildlands, yeah, that one looks pretty dope too. But like these aren't games that I'm not like super hyped about, but I'm definitely intrigued by, and would like to see them do well. But so yeah, probably the Battletech game and Zelda are the ones that I'm gonna go ahead and drop.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely excited about the Zelda. I am fully on board for the Horizon Zero Dawn. I pre-ordered it digitally and everything. So
yeah, I mean, you're definitely not alone there. It's got a huge following, but it's just, I don't know, like I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I mean, it's something that Guerrilla hasn't done this type of game before. I mean, there's a lot of question marks surrounding the game. I mean, it's got the potential to be great, but I'm also not gonna necessarily get caught up in the hype just yet.
Yeah, I've got sucked up in it, but I am in the same boat. Or like the fact that they've never made those at open world before. They've just mainly done the Killzone games. It's a huge concern, but I think the idea of the world, like the fact that I could be completely forgetting big popular games, but I don't think we've ever seen a game like this before where it's like takes place like a whole like 1,000 years in the future, and it's basically like it's not just like we've seen 1,000 games where it's like post-apocalyptic and it's like zombies or like the bomb was dropped, like Fallout or something like that, like Last of Us.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I don't think we've ever seen a game like where it's like it's technology, it's giant robots. They're like creatures and things. I don't know. I think that idea, I think alone is what sold me on it, and maybe that will be enough for me to like that game.
Yeah, so the story and setting and all is like super intriguing. I mean, I really like the premise for sure. Gameplay wise, from everything I'm hearing, it's very similar to Far Cry. So if you like that kind of gameplay, which I do, I really enjoyed Far Cry. So, yeah. But from what I understand, gameplay wise, is going to be very similar to Far Cry. And then yeah, the premise and everything is a totally dope concept that I think is really neat and has a lot of potential.
Yeah, if it's Far Cry in that world, then it might be. It's probably Game of the Year is already locked in probably for me. And then kind of going into, I'm gonna throw you the softball here with the personal question. What is your favorite movie or movie series? It's really an easy answer. There's only one answer.
Is it though? I mean, so I think the answer that you want me to give, I won't give. Like,
What do you think? What do you think it is?
So I'm thinking the answer you would like me to give is probably something along the lines of like a Star Wars or something along that lines.
Nope, not at all.
Okay, cool. Because that is not where I'm going with that.
That's okay.
So right off the top of my head, the only thing that comes to mind that jumps straight into my head is the Fast and Furious series.
That was my answer.
Okay, cool. Because that's
Fast and Furious.
like top of head. Like, I mean, if I sat and thought about it, I might be able to come up with a few movies, at least even like individual standalone movies that I like more. But the Fast and Furious series as a whole is probably what jumps to mind as my favorite franchise.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'll say the even ones, but the odds are so good.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I would say almost all of them are really good. I had issues with Too Fast, Too Furious. I thought it was too cheesy, too campy. It just, it didn't really vibe for me. It kind of went over the top with like all the underbody neon and stuff. It was a weird transition because if you go from the first movie where all of the cars were super realistic. I mean, outside of there was an R33 Skyline that one of the main characters drove, the yellow car. But outside of that, like every single one of the cars that was featured, I mean, Mitsubishi Eclipse, Nissan, Silvia, no, it wasn't even a Silvia, it was a 240 SX. They were all cars that I could see myself driving. Like you can go and find them probably on a used car lot just about anywhere. Even a Toyota Supra, I mean, that movie made that car so that it was super expensive anytime you tried to find it somewhere, but it's still a car that you can find somewhere. And I mean, even though now they're 20 years old at the newest, like it can be found. So the second movie took that to the next level where it's like, yeah, we've got these cars, but we're going to throw this wicked underbody. We're going to make them shoot flames out of the exhaust. They're going to go crazy buck wild. They just kind of went over the top with it. And then, so on top of that, the next lowest one, I think, would be the Tokyo Drift, which was the third one. I mean, it's a good movie, but it outside of like the ending where they kind of tied it together to the other movies, like especially in the timeline, it didn't make a lot of sense. No. I really enjoyed the drifting. Like drifting was something that I got super into when it became kind of a big deal. I super respect the drifting that's in that movie to the level. I mean, the scene where DK drifts his 270Z up the parking structure, where it's like he's going up the little ramp to go up the parking structure. That was an actual drift that was done, and it was in one cut. And like the level of precision that was required to do that drift is just insane. Like I have nothing but respect for the sport of drifting, the auto sport of drifting. But I think story wise, it was really disjointed, and it wasn't until like you have to wait another 2 or 3 movies before that even gets pulled back into the fold, where it's like, oh, now this makes sense, so
yeah.
And you got to wonder at the time, I feel like 3 was one of those like last ditch efforts to kind of keep the franchise alive, and I think they thought it was going to be the end of the franchise, like, and then after 4, like, it just everything kind of falls into place. They've got exotic cars, exotic locations, doing the whole Ocean's 11 heist scenes and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it just became like this larger than life, persona. So yeah, I mean, Fast and Furious franchise is probably going to be my all-time favorite franchise. And I'm glad that you were going to go that route. Cause yeah, like, I mean, it's funny. I'm a really horrible geek. Like, I don't really care about Star Wars, and I really don't care about like Lord of the Rings, like high fantasy, like none of that really appeals to me. I think video games and to a certain extent comic books probably are the nerd things that kind of keep me in the nerd culture. But yeah, Star Wars, I mean, it's cool. I respect it for what it is, but it's not, it doesn't really call to me like it does to a lot of other nerds.
Understandable. I didn't get into Star Wars really until like my late teens, so it's been like a decade thing for me where I've been kind of nerded out on it. Well, 5 of the 8 movies. But anyways, very very good, very cool.
Cool.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I also would have accepted the Rush Hour trilogy if you would have said that.
Rush Hour's good. Rush Hour is good.
It's
Back to the
fantastic.
Future is another great trilogy. No, it's good. I could sit down and watch Back to the Future trilogy just about any time. But I mean, there's a ton of other great movies. I mean, Mean Girls is a movie that I can never get tired of watching. It's, you know,
bad movie, actually. Lindsay Lohan at her best before Coke.
before the drugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that. Yeah, and I definitely
fun.
look forward to letting everybody get to know me a little better.
Yeah, that was fun. All right, cool. Well, Fast and Furious, awesome. But anyways, let's jump into some of the games that we've been playing. I'm gonna start with you, Gables. What have what have you been playing this past week?
Well, I have been mostly playing stuff on my Wii U, so I managed to finish up Sonic's All-Star Racing Transformed and stuff.
Do you ever actually finish that game?
Well, I didn't really finish it like 100% completion, but I did go through and I collected all the stars that I could in order to try to...
Did you beat Mirror Mode?
No, I didn't go back to do the Mirror Mode.
Is it 200cc?
No, but there's no 200cc in that stupid thing. But
lazy bastards.
Well, how it's structured and stuff, if you collect like about 95 stars or something like that, you get a chance to unlock like another type of cup, which is like, it's basically the post-game sort of cup or something. But as soon as you do that and stuff, it increases the difficulty again to where if you want to, you can go back and just like do like 4 stars or something like that for the highest difficulty setting. Because at that point and stuff, there's like 3 stars. And the 3 stars, like that, those events and stuff that are supposed to be like A rank, those are supposed to be like the hardest ones until after you finish the main career mode. Then you go to the S rank stuff. But, be perfectly honest, I'm not really compelled to do the S rank stuff as the A rank. Some of them were really difficult in order to try to achieve. But I'm glad that I've went up and I've only spent like about 8 hours on this game, which is kind of impressive. I got a lot of bang for my buck, and I really enjoyed Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed. I mean, I did enjoy it a lot on the Vita, and just playing it through again, it just makes me feel like, wow, this is actually a pretty fun, fantastic game, and I'm surprised not a lot of other people have attempted to play this. It's almost as good as, say, like a streamlined Mario Kart game. Only a few tidbits I would adjust here and there, maybe like from certain like character AI like perspective, maybe like some track alterations and stuff. But other than that, no, it was just really enjoyable. But after I went through and finished that, I turned on to a game that I have not played roughly since I finished it, like close to when the Wii U first released. And I'm talking about like New Super Mario Bros. U. So, for me, I love old Mario games, and generally the best Mario games I tend to go to are the ones that I've played as a child. Mostly because I'm more or less used to them. I go through the levels like routine and stuff. But I don't really do that too much, like with the 2D Mario games for like the newer systems. Like, say, New Super Mario Bros. U happened to be like kind of one of them. But because last April, I had a little issue with my Wii U's like gamepad stuff where it wasn't like working properly, and I ended up discovering that it was because my battery pack to my Wii U and stuff like that, the gamepad, it wasn't adjusted right. I'm assuming at the time it was because I moved from house to house that it kind of jarred like the little cable or something inside the back of my gamepad. So I initially thought there was something wrong with my gamepad, and so that led to me just deleting all the data that I had on my Wii U at the time. So I ended up losing all my game saves and everything, but in hindsight though, I did not lose any of my actual games that I've purchased, which thank God for that. But
right?
Yeah. But going through the game again, I've managed to at least get to around worlds like the 6th level. The 6th level of it. It's kind of like rock candy, like mines or something like that. And so far it's so good. I managed to get all the little medals and stuff for the first level. And what was kind of funny is like I got to the point like around world like level 2 or something where it's like, okay, why don't I just aim just to try to go through and just play the game and just worry about like collecting a little bit of the coins later. And so, like, unbeknownst to me and stuff, while I'm playing through the game, I'm starting to understand, starting to realize how easy it is to pile on lives for that game. I mean, yeah. you get a good assortment of like 1-up opportunities and stuff, but then the game starts getting a little bit more easier in terms of ranking up 1-ups and stuff when you go through specific worlds or specific mini games and you're just earning like 1-up after 1-up. There were certain levels that I've went through where I'd never noticed this before, that once you go through, there will be multiple times where you can earn like 1-up, like just extra lives. And at one point, here I am past like I'm like on world 5 or something, like not world, like level 5 and stuff, and I have like over 80 lives that I've accomplished and like accumulated. And that's just the thing, I've been dying a fair amount because of miscues, because of like controller stuff that I keep switching off of my gamepad and my pro controller, and it's been messing up some of my jumps and my timing. But after going through and getting to World 6, I now have like about 92 lives. So I got enough lives and stuff to where I can actually just screw around and experiment, and if I want to, go back and play some bit of the levels to get to some of the, like the rest of the little golden coins. But there have been a few levels in particular that I've really enjoyed, which were kind of challenging. Like, there was this particular little castle, this little mid-boss little castle with a boom boom, where you had to try to navigate the entirety of the stage with these green movable blocks that are going upwards. So, basically what I ended up doing and stuff is, I've ended up having to replay this level over and over, because I kept losing lives, because I keep knocking into these stupid little electronic little balls or something like that just shoot electricity. And I would have the Squirrel Mario suit and stuff, and I was just going trying to collect coins, and all of a sudden I accidentally like knock into something that's just like really close in vicinity, or something like maybe a swingable ball and chain that's like on the ceiling, or like a little bit of electrode here and there. And as a result, I'd lose my balance, and I go all the way down to the screen, and I accidentally came across an actual like hidden warp pipe, which would transfer you all the way up to the last portion of the castle of that stage. So what I ended up doing was I collected like 1 or 2 coins, like get hit or something, and I go all the way down, not even traversing into the later half of the level. Then I take that shortcut, and I'm right at the last portion, and I clear the level that way. And it's kind of funny how playing games like, say, what was it, Mario Maker or something, make you kind of more like susceptible, more to like notice specific types of shortcuts and pathways and stuff. Because now playing through New Super Mario Bros. U, I'm just starting to find more of those little shortcuts than I would have.
Cool.
It's like, hey, that cave looks suspicious, let's go investigate that. Or, oh, hey, maybe if I use this little power-up at this angle, let's see if it actually leads to somewhere. Oh, no, I died again. But, let's see. What else have I been playing? Oh, I started playing a little bit of Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. That game is actually really interesting. Why? Because it's more structured like, it kind of reminds me a bit of like a monster, like a, what was it, not a monster, like a lair, I think so. Like a monster, Monster World sort of game. To where it's, the enemies and all this other stuff are kind of reminiscent to like, how you would play some of those older like Sega Genesis like type of games, even like sort of Master System stuff where it's like Monster World doing this, like kind of like a action platforming type of things, but it mixes in some elements, some RPG elements, sort of like how you would like oh boy, like a Castlevania Symphony of the Night possibly, where you get certain types of powers and stuff as you progress through the game, but there'll be certain parts where you can't even proceed past because you need a specific item or a specific power up to go further in. I played like about around an hour or so, and so far it doesn't seem that bad. I mean, I've played my fair share of little tidbits of like Shantae games and stuff, but I've never actually have beaten one of them. But now, with my recent purchase of Half Genie Hero on the Wii U and stuff, I really want to try to see if I can go through one of them and see what I can actually get out of it, because all these games are made by WayForward, and I really like a lot of their work. So, Yeah, that's.
I've heard good things about that series. So yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be a pretty solid series.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. The platforming inside the games are really great. The level structure, the music, the designs of like the characters and stuff. It really kind of took me by surprise, especially if you go forth on the 3DS's Virtual Console and download the original Shantae, the Game Boy Color game, that goes for like, oh my god, like at least over $100 easily on eBay for the original the Game Boy Color cartridge. It amazes me how like the studio managed to push like so much of the processing power and the music, the sound chip stuff of the Game Boy Color back around 2001. Because I'll tell you what, like you look at Game Boy games that are like older, that were originally on the Game Boy, then you look at some of the Game Boy Color stuff and how developers were able to push with so limited a space of like with RAM and like with color palettes and all this other stuff. Then you look at a game like Shantae where it's got all these different types of complexities and all these random little fun mini games and stuff. It's kind of amazing to see it that way. But yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
All right. Very cool, man.
Sweet.
Glad you're still playing the Wii U. As we're getting closer, more or less than 3 weeks away from the Switch. So.
Yep, and Breath of the Wild.
And Breath of the Wild. But Troy, what have you been playing, buddy?
So, last podcast I was still playing Shadow Complex Remastered. I finished that up on Monday. That was a pretty good game. I mean, we're talking about, Metroid-style games, where you go back and there's certain areas of the map that are closed off until you get upgrades and stuff like that. So, it was okay. I was actually a little disappointed in the ending. It seemed kind of anticlimactic. The last fight wasn't super difficult at all. They kind of threw a bunch of the mini bosses that were throughout the game at you, but they weren't super threatening. And the whole concept was you're supposed to like get to these rocket launchers to shoot down this, whatever the main boss thing was. And I didn't find it super challenging. It was actually pretty easy to do that. And then at the end, I mean, it was just it's kind of a flat ending, but I mean, it was still a pretty good game. It was well put together, and I got to kind of look at it in the context that it was created. It was created as a small Xbox Live Arcade game, and in that context, it actually was a really great game. Notwithstanding the ending was just a little bit of a letdown to me. It wasn't super challenging. I feel like there was a lot of other parts of that game that were way more challenging than that final encounter, which just was kind of super easy, kind of rote. So I finished that up on Monday, and then so I took Tuesday and Wednesday off for various reasons. One, I had dental surgery. I've got an implant going in, so they stuck a metal rod into my jaw. They drilled a hole in my jaw and then kind of ratcheted in this metal rod into my mouth that has to sit there for 3 months and heal before they can actually put a crown on it. But so I kind of didn't stream on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I decided that I'm getting a little overwhelmed with schoolwork and everything like that, and so I didn't stream on Wednesday either. Tuesdays and Wednesdays I have classes in the evening, so it was making it kind of tough for me to work around. I'd stream, and then literally like an hour and a half later I'd have to go off to class, and in a lot of cases most of my classes are heavily team project based this semester, so it's like, my team wants to meet before class because we have a presentation and we want to go over the presentation, so it's just easier for me to take off the days that I have actual in-person classes. So come Thursday I started playing Catherine on the PlayStation 3. That's what I'm streaming on my Twitch streams in the last couple days. That's an interesting game. I'm really intrigued by the story. The story is pretty dope. It's a game by Atlas, and it has this visual novel, crazy. I mean, you guys are probably familiar with it, but yeah, it's like the guy ends up getting drunk, wakes up the next morning, and he's got this girl in bed with him. And it's not his girlfriend, and so then craziness ensues. It's a whole thing, but. So there's visual novel aspects of going around and talking to people and getting the story. And then the gameplay mechanic is this box puzzle thing where you're supposed to be in the guy's nightmares and you're shifting boxes around trying to climb this tower of boxes. As in the early stages, the bottom's dropping off, so you want to, keep ahead of the dropping tower. And then in the latter parts of the stages, it's various boss monster type things that are chasing you up this tower of blocks. and those are pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like, I'm playing on normal difficulty, and yeah, like, I'm struggling a bit. I'm actually, I kind of put it up in the stream and asked the people who were watching me in chat if they thought it would be better if I cut the difficulty down to easy just to move things along, because like I stream for 2 hours at a time. I start streaming at 5 p.m. Eastern and I finish at 7 p.m. Eastern, and like, for instance, Friday, my entire stream was taken up by one night's worth of nightmare scenario, which was 3 different little sections of, you know, this block puzzle thing. And we're talking like I had like 12 retries at some point, and I used up all 12 of those and had to go back to my, you know, most recent save. And yeah, I mean, it's real frustrating. My mind hasn't quite clicked. You know, I can't recognize solutions real quickly on it. I'm hoping that as I go, those solutions will become kind of more second nature to me, especially as I know, you know, I'm on day 3 right now and there's 9 days. So ostensibly they're going to ramp up in difficulty, and I'm struggling at these early stages. So yeah, it's interesting though. Have you guys played the game?
Fun fact, we did back in August, Gables, Justin and I, we did like our top 30 games of all time, mainly just to get like a month off, and also, you know, we thought it'd be fun to kind of talk about some of our favorite games. Catherine is in my mid-teens somewhere, like top 15 game of all time.
Cool.
And yeah, and I beat that game twice, which is a rarity for me, especially back in the 360 PS3 era, where I'd usually just play a game and I'd sell it right away and never touch it again. And I saw that you put a poll on Twitter, and I actually voted for Catherine. And,
cool. Well, that one won by a landslide, I think, because I put up a poll on Twitter, and then I put up a poll in the Trophy Whores podcast Facebook group, and I had probably close to like twice as many votes for Catherine as any other game. I think Halo was the next closest. So yeah, like Catherine won by a landslide.
Yeah. But I saw your poll, and I'm like, fuck, that's a great game. So I actually looked it up on my Xbox One, and it's $3 to buy digitally on the Xbox One. So I bought it. I'm playing that again, actually.
Cool.
Yeah, I just finished the second night.
All right. So I mean, do you have any tips for me on these puzzles? I mean, they're pretty tough.
So every time you get to like you beat like one of the puzzles, and you go and you see all the sheep around.
Yep.
Are you talking to the sheep?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. I say you talking to the guys that give you the techniques.
Yeah.
Is a good way to go.
Okay.
Use the stair and the I think it's called like the twister or the tornado thing, where you pull a block up, climb up, pull another one out, slide it out. Those are the kind of like, those two will save your ass more than anything. And don't be afraid to buy items either.
Okay.
Like buy it.
Yeah, so the only one that's been of any use to me is the one that actually creates a block. I've used that a couple of times. Actually, I used that to finally complete the stage that I was on. And also another thing that I was having crazy frustrations with is I was using the D-pad on the DualShock 3. And you get to those trap blocks where the spikes come up out of them, and like getting the timing right on those was such a pain in the ass. But I actually discovered that he moves quicker using the analog stick, so I'm able to, you know, go forward and back a lot quicker. But then with the analog stick, I feel like you have less precision control for like moving around the blocks and stuff. So I'm trying to like get my mind around like going to the analog stick when I need to be quick to get across the trap blocks, and then you know, use the D-pad for the fine control. Yeah, I mean, it's just my brain hasn't quite snapped that, you know. And then also I'm trying to get used to using the rewind function, you know, because that's something I wasn't using. So it's like, oh, well, this isn't working, let me rewind it a couple of steps, you know, and oh crap, the bottom's about to drop off, let me rewind this a few steps and see if I can. So I'm trying to reprogram my brain to use that, and hopefully that helps a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if it's frustrating or entertaining for people to sit there in my Twitch stream watching me die repeatedly.
Yeah, I would say, don't, like, if you don't care about what if you get like a bronze or silver or gold, don't be afraid to buy items, and then the rewind feature. I know the first time I beat that game, I used those things constantly, and I died a lot. It's going to take a little bit, because I remember the first time I played that game, I loved that game. I beat the game like 3 days, but I definitely was frustrated at a few points and had to put that game down for hours at a time, or even like a whole day. Yeah, it's just, at a certain point, I would say just don't even give a shit if you don't by your score.
Yeah.
'Cause
No,
that
and
was
I think I'm okay with that.
Okay.
It's funny because the other podcast I'm on is a Trophy Horse podcast, and ostensibly it is for people who want to get platinum trophies, as many platinum trophies as possible. And I was actually dared to get the platinum trophy in this game,
fuck
which
that.
I don't know if you guys like ever use any of like PlayStationTrophies.org or anything like that. Or yeah, this has a 9 out of 10 difficulty for the platinum trophy.
'Cause there's
like it is like Ninja Gaiden like levels of difficulty to get the platinum in this game.
Yeah, because I think there's 8 different endings, and there's a trophy or achievement for each one, getting each one.
Yeah.
And I also I could be wrong, but I think every night you go back to that bar. And I think every alcoholic beverage you have, I think it gets harder the more you drink.
He gets faster. The more you drink, the faster you move in the
That's what it
dream
is.
world.
Okay.
So yeah, you want to max that level out because you can move quicker.
Okay, so maybe
Which is kind of counterintuitive, but that's actually what you want to do is you want to get him pretty well drunk so that he moves quicker through the dream sequences.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it clicks with me a little better. I may end up just dropping the difficulty to easy just to kind of blow through it. It depends on how I feel. I mean, I'm enjoying the story a lot, and the dream sequences are all right, but I don't know that they're like the main draw, so I might just drop the difficulty to easy just to blow through it, because I really am interested in the story more than anything in this game. I'm enjoying it, though, otherwise. But yeah, it's just the puzzles are pretty tough.
Yeah, I can get that, because I'm not the best puzzle guy either, but I completely understand where I think the draw of that game is more of the story mode, the story, than the actual gameplay itself. And I think that they purposely did that too, because it's not like, it's not a first-person shooter. It's such a weird game type. It really, I think throughout the game you probably spend more time at the bar or in cutscenes than you are playing the game itself. So
as long as you're not dying like 12 or 13 times in the
because I think really if you really fight that entire game without dying, or probably the whole game itself, gameplay wise, is probably an hour.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I'm really enjoying the story. I'm a sucker for anime, and like the idea behind it. It's way more adult themed and stuff like that. It's actually really cool, the premise on it and stuff, all the little questions that you have to answer, and then it gives you, well, most people answered this way, and it's like, it's really interesting. I look forward to seeing it through. I might even be interested in going back and playing through to get different endings, just to see how all the different endings work out, but I still don't know that I have it in me to even try and get the platinum trophy on this, just based on the difficulty of the puzzles. I mean, I imagine I have to go through on hard mode and get all golds, which, I mean, at this point, I'm struggling to get bronzes on normal, using up like 12 retries. So
yeah, and plus I think a lot of the trophies are tied to the co-op mode, which you have to beat the game to get the co-op mode. I think you have to get golds and hard to unlock different levels of co-op mode too. So it's it's damn near. I beat that game twice, and I think I have 210 of the 1,000 achievement points. So
cool.
It's not exactly an easy game as far as that goes.
Yeah, but otherwise I'm enjoying it, and that's all I've been playing. I haven't played anything else this week.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm happy you played that, because it made me want to go back and play that game more.
Awesome.
But I've been playing that, and on top of that, I've had a little more free time, so I decided to finally sit down and try to play some Resident Evil 7. More than I haven't really played in like 2 weeks, so I about 4 hours in now, and I went to the whole opening part, and I loved the whole part. You fight like you're being chased around by the dad, and his daddy, is what they call him, and the whole first part of the game I think is awesome. Like you get it just reminds me so much of like Outlast, which I love Outlast, and I love those kind of survival horror games. And having a gun, be able to defend yourself and everything, and I really haven't used it, but all that I think is great. It's scary. The whole part is scary and everything. But so after you get past that point, you get to go down to the basement to do some things, and you actually run into these other enemies, and they're called I think the molded or the mold or whatever, and they're kind of like these ooze like creatures. And this is where the action element comes into play. And I have a pistol. And I went down there, and resources obviously in this kind of game are limited, and so I went down there. I had 90 bullets with my pistol, and I fought 5 enemies, and I had like 20 left after fighting these 5 enemies. And so I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna try this again, because like, so you can like shoot them in the legs and the arms, and like you can knock off body parts to slow them down. You go for headshots, and it'll take them down a lot faster. But so I went through it. I went through the whole basement section again, where I fought I think it's like 5 or 6 of them. I can't remember exactly. And about the same point. I had like a few more bullets. And I fought some more after that, and it's just this part, fighting these enemies makes me hate this game. Where it reminds me of all the things I hate about Resident Evil 6, where it's just like bullet sponges, and the fact that this is more of like a resource-based game than what Resident Evil 5 and 6 is more of just like, they want to be like a combination. They're not very good at it. Combo of like survival horror and Gears of War, like, where you have a lot of bullets, but these guys but you like just enough bullets to get by, but you're never really too worried about ammo, because you can usually find a bunch more. And it reminds me of that, and it's frustrating. And I love like dealing with the family. That whole part and exploring the house, solving the puzzles, all that is awesome. I want more of that. And just doing all that, fighting the molded, it sucks to me. I hate it. I'm sure Justin, if nowadays in the future, is listening to this and he's shaking his head.
He's just nodding along.
Yeah. He probably hates me for saying that. But yeah, I don't know. I want to go back to it, but it's just like, I don't want to fucking, if this is like a good chunk of the game is dealing with these molded creatures, I don't want to play this game anymore.
How far into the game are you right now?
Probably 4 hours in, and I know I'm probably only maybe a quarter of the way through the game.
Huh. Yeah, so everything I've heard about the game is like the first 2/3 of the game is pretty strong, and then maybe the last third was, kind of flat. So
yeah.
I don't know. I have no experience, so I can't tell you, but that's what I've heard. But yeah, this molded thing seems like they're the block puzzles of this game. And all you want is the story mode, which is dealing with the crazy family.
Yeah, that's good. That's a perfect way to put it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'll talk to Justin, and he'll tell me that's only a limited part of it. I try to avoid like looking at reviews and other things like that, because I don't really want to spoil future like things in the game. So I don't know. I might do a little research on it and kind of find out how much of this game is the molded creatures, and if it's like, I don't know, if it just feels like it's filler, and like maybe this game is only like 5-6 hours, and they were like, well, we need to add like 5, we need to double the game time, so they added in this stuff, and I hope that's not the case. That's pretty much it. I don't know what I'm gonna be playing in the future. Probably play more Catherine. Maybe Resident Evil 7, depending on how things go. But jumping into the news, kind of, it's February. Not a lot of things going on in February right now. A few small things have happened. But I know, Troy, you have not played the Mass Effect games really, but
I have not. Actually, they're on. So I've got a little list on my iPad, and every time I think of a game that I like haven't played, and it's like, oh, that's a really good game, that would be a good game to stream. I've got like this list now of games that, like, once I finish Catherine, I'll probably pick like 4 of them that I'd maybe like to play next, and I'll throw them up on a poll, and on Twitter and on Facebook, and see what everybody thinks I should play next. So, and the Mass Effect series is definitely on that list.
Yeah, I obviously I highly recommend those games. I'm sure most people will. But a thing they announced with the Mass Effect Andromeda, BioWare did, is that they got rid of the. Are you aware what the Paragon Renegade thing is?
Yeah, there's to do with the dialogue choices and everything like that to decide if you're mostly good or mostly evil, sort of thing.
Yeah, so that's something announced with Andromeda, a big change for the Mass Effect series, is they're doing away with the Paragon Renegade thing. And at first I'm like, I was like, okay, that's a weird thing. Like, that's a weird thing to say, because most games have that. Not most games, but a lot of games that have dialogue options, they have essentially a Paragon Renegade system. But I liked the explanation they gave. Basically, and I'm going to read what the article says, is that the reason they got rid of it, the Paragon and Renegade are gone because they felt very Shepard, which Shepard is the main character of the original trilogy. They are tied to the Shepard character, so they didn't really make sense if we were going to have if we weren't going to have a Shepard as the main protagonist. What we have now is more of a agreed disagreeing situation. The reason I like this is because the trilogy, it's like I'm going to play Paragon, and then that's the way you're going to stick to moving on in every conversation. So basically, it's a great answer, I think, as far as it's like every time I would talk to him about Mass Effect, one of the first questions they have is like, "Oh, how are you going through this game? Paragon or Renegade?" And that's the way it was. Even if you didn't agree with the Paragon, or if you're going Paragon and you don't agree sometimes with that option, you still clicked it because that's the way you're going, and there was benefits to stick with one tree. One road,
It's
I
like
guess.
all or nothing. It doesn't behoove you to kind of sit in the middle.
Being middle ground really actually kind of hurts you because you lose dialogue options, and you can big changes to the game happen if you don't have those options available. So I like that idea. Is like now I could play it more as how I want to play it, and it feels more natural that way. So that it's something they did that more with Dragon Age Origins, and I think they did it more with Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. And I like Dragon Age Origin. I think is the best, one of the better games I've ever played. Is what that has dialogue options. So if they go that route, where it was 5 options, it wasn't just a Paragon, Renegade, and Neutral, and you didn't quite know exactly where those were going to go. If it kind of goes that route, this will make me love Mass Effect games even more than I thought I ever could. What about you guys?
Well, actually, I don't really mind either way. I mean, yeah, it kind of sucks, though. There's no Paragon, Renegade type of choices. But at the other end of the things, I can see why that the director kind of felt like it was more akin to, say, Commander Shepard as opposed to, like, say, anything else. Because, yeah, for Commander Shepard's journey and stuff like that, a lot of his stuff was really highly, like, molded after, whether, like, the good choice, bad choice, or something like that. And, yeah, Tyler, it's kind of like what you said, though. It's like it kind of manipulated sort of the choices that you would have made, even if you were, like, I didn't mean to, because, hey, for those type of Mass Effect games, you either went as Paragon or Renegade, you stuck with your guns, you had to maximize either or, and in pretty much for most of the fans' cases, they went with the Paragon route, because, hell, hardly anybody goes with the entirety of the evil, like, route, or the Renegade route. But, I kind of, like I said, I don't care either way, but I do like the way how it was explained as to why it was axed, and you know what? It's going to be kind of interesting just popping in Andromeda and seeing like all the different types of options and stuff that I would go with and stuff. I'm kind of hoping to do something similar to what Telltale has like generally does with some of their episodes and stuff, where there's this thing where you see the percentage of what player did what or some in this situation or in that situation. I think that would be really interesting to find out too. But yeah,
that's cool. I didn't think about it like that. I know,
Yeah,
Charlie,
it's
you haven't
cool.
really
Like,
done it, but
yeah, but I was actually like when I read the headline here, I was thinking that they were taking away that whole system of like, you know, choices to some degree, which kind of felt kind of weird because like that's a lot of what makes the Mass Effect series like popular.
Yeah.
But now like hearing the explanation behind it, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think, you know, tying somebody off to all Renegade, all Paragon seems kind of crap, you know, and like when I play a game, I like to just kind of go with the flow and kind of react the way I think I would react in, you know, real life. And then we'll see, like we were talking about Catherine, you know, it's like, oh, well, it gives you a question, you answer the question, and then, in the next little transition, it's like, oh, this percentage of people chose this one, and this percentage of people chose that one. I think that's really interesting to be able to see, you know, how you fall in line, and, you know, the Telltale games do the same thing. It's like, oh, you know, 66% of the people agreed and chose the option that I chose, and for those to have, I mean, maybe not like a detriment, you know, to be able to just play the game the way you want to play, and like, hey, maybe you're having a bad day and you want to be real shitty to somebody, you know, like, or you don't particularly like this character and you just rather, you know, tell them to go to hell or punch them in the face. You know, it's good to know that you have that option without like totally screwing up, you know, the way your game's going to play out in the long run.
Yeah. And like another thing with that is I like there was when Mass Effect 1 came out, that was outside BioWare was really the only people doing that was like the dialogue option tree. And that was really cool with Mass Effect 1 and 2. But by 3, it was kind of like everybody was doing it. And it wasn't really a cool, unique thing anymore. And especially with the Paragon Renegade system, good evil system, it was just kind of like, it just didn't mean anything anymore. And it was kind of more of a detriment than I think a positive to the game. And I remember specific points in the game where I was playing it. Like I can't remember. Like I think in 2, where it's like there's this really terrible character, and it's like I can like the Paragon thing to do was try to reason with them, and the Renegade thing was just fucking shoot him and kill him, and that's the thing I wanted to do. But because I'm doing Paragon, you know, I had to let him. I let him live, and then bad things happened. Or like I remember at one point there was like this really shitty reporter in one of the games, and the option was to punch him in the face or just answer his question and try to be like super like straight faced and just give him the business like business right answer. It's like, I just want to punch you in the face because you're a piece of shit. But instead I gave him like the politically correct answer, you know. And I'm hoping they don't have any system at all telling you which way you're leaning. I don't even care if the people in my group like me or not. I only want to see that as an option. I just want I want to play the game how I think I would answer that in that situation. And I hope that's the case. And I hope the game's good, obviously. But moving on, I don't know how excited you are about the new South Park game, Fractured Butthole. I loved it. It was actually my game. The first one was my game of the year of 2013. But unfortunately, it was supposed to come out on December 6th. Got delayed to Q1 of 2017. It has now been delayed again to the fiscal year of 2017, meaning it can come out as late as March 31st of 2018.
Huh.
That's a big window.
Yeah. Anywhere between April 1st of this year and March 31st of next year. So.
Didn't Stick of Truth have similar like delays like this?
Yeah, I was about to say the exact same thing. The Stick of Truth like got delayed so many times, and it was almost to the point where when that game came out, like I had just written it off that it was just going to be a disaster. And, you know, it turned out not to be the case. It turned out to be actually a really awesome game. I really enjoyed it. I definitely, you know, recommend it to anybody who hasn't played it yet. Anytime I come across somebody else like, oh, I haven't played that. But, dude, you need to play that game. So in a way, I'm a little concerned, but in a way I'm not, you know, because they did that the first time and it all turned out great. So
I'm of the mind. It's like, hey.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Like I said, I'm of the mind and stuff. Hey, Matt and Trey Parker, they know what the fuck they're doing. So it's like I pretty much think it's because of those guys. Like they really want to try to nail the whole superhero sort of aspect of the Fractured Butthole and stuff. So hell, they combined with Obsidian stuff to make a great South Park game and stuff. So well, hell, take their time. As long as it ends up being one of the most fantastic like RPGs around, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like I said, I love Stick of Truth. I actually pre-ordered Fractured Butthole last summer, just so digitally, so I could play Stick of Truth. I beat that again last summer. 100%. I've 100% the game twice now. And they actually, because I got delayed, they gave me back my money, and I still got Stick of Truth out of it. So
there you go.
Yeah. So. The only argument I can make with the whole Stick of Truth being delayed was that it was being made with THQ.
Yep.
And then THQ went a business, and then there was basically they lost a year because of going over to Ubisoft and new developer. So that game came out almost 2 years later than it's supposed to. It's jarring, of course. You know, depends how you look at it. Like normally, game was delayed. That's usually a good thing because it's better that the game that comes out finished and good than a typical Ubisoft game where it comes out the day they want to come out to meet some sort of demand or meet the holidays or whatever, and it's broken, doesn't work. But it, you look at it, it's like, ooh, this game could be in trouble, and I don't think it is, but it still sucks because I just want to fucking play this game, you know. It's always frustrating when a game gets delayed, especially when you're looking forward to. But I should be over it and used to it with Last Guardian, obviously. That game for nearly a goddamn decade. But moving on to another thing coming out of the a lot of news coming out this week, mainly because of with the last quarter ending, a lot of people coming out doing their end of quarter things with the stock market.
Their investor calls.
Thank you, investor calls. Yeah, so everybody's doing that this past week or two. So Activision came out and announced a lot of things, or kind of not really announced a lot of things, but said a lot of things. But one of the I think probably the biggest thing to come out of this maybe is that they confirmed that Destiny 2 will be coming out this fall for all the PS4 and Xbox One.
No surprise.
Yeah. So my question to you guys is, are you guys? I don't know, Troy. I guess we should start with you first. did you play Destiny 1 at all, or?
I have not played Destiny. The premise behind Destiny was really intriguing when it was announced and as it was coming out. The initial kind of impression on it was kind of not great, like it felt like it seemed like a lot of people were feeling like it was a little bare. I know, they've done updates in it since then that have kind of it apparently now feels like a complete game, whereas it didn't before. But it kind of passed me by. I haven't played Halo yet, so I don't have much affinity for that that style of the Bungie style of shooting and stuff like that, which is supposed to be really strong and one of the pulls of the game. But yeah, it didn't really hit me, and I played the beta and I was kind of intrigued by it, but it didn't end up. I ended up passing it up. Same way, was it Tom Clancy's The Division? Seemed like the Destiny game that I would be willing to play because, more than sci-fi in general, I tend to enjoy more of a espionage, intrigue, military kind of modern times, sort of setting. And so like the Division looked like the Destiny game that I would be interested in playing, and then that one even came out and passed me by. So it is what it is, and it was kind of interesting because I think a lot of people thought that Destiny was just going to be a platform, that they weren't going to have a numbered sequel. They were just going to continue to build on it, kind of like a World of Warcraft style model. So it was interesting when they decided to actually make Destiny 2 a full-fledged sequel.
Yeah, that's true. They did say, when they were talking about Destiny and first started talking about it, they said Destiny is a 10-year project. So they kind of made it sound like you were just going to add on to Destiny. And
yep.
Obviously, that's not the case. But, kind of people that maybe not listened to us for a long time or, people that may not remember or know, I actually had Destiny pre-ordered day one. I was going to get it and then canceled it like the last minute and picked up Hyrule Warriors instead because it came out like 2 weeks later.
You probably
Good
have
call
more.
by me.
You probably have more enjoyment out of that than Destiny.
Oh yeah, I think it was my like 8th or 9th game of 2000. I think that was 14. I fucking love Hyrule Warriors. No, I think I want to say it was like summer 2015. We were just kind of finding some content for the show, obviously because summertime ain't shit going on game wise, news or actual games to play. So Jake, Gabe, and I all played Vanilla Destiny and beat that through. Neither one of us played the game before. Well, Jake beat the game like 16 times, I'm sure. But Gables and I had not played the game before and went through that, and it was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed it, and they had some updates, obviously. We didn't play it in the DLC. At that point, there was only those 2 bullshit expansions they had that really wasn't much of anything outside, like an extra couple hours of content. But had a lot of fun with that. And obviously, playing with your friends, things is 10 times better with playing with friends.
So that was another thing that I was going to say. Like, if you've got a group of people that you're playing through with, like, that seems like even the Division seems like, oh yeah, that's the way to play that game.
Oh, most definitely.
My issue is with time crunches the way they are. It's like I don't necessarily have. That's kind of why I'm doing this streaming. Is it actually sets aside time that's dedicated to gaming? Because otherwise, with school and everything like that, I don't end up spending a lot of time playing games, and I'll go weeks without having any time set aside to play any video games. And if you're trying to find a time when you and your buddies can get together and play, like that's real tough for me. And then by then they've all passed me by. They're all way over leveled because they're like, we're just gonna play without you. So a game like that is tough for me in my current life situation. In a few months that might change. I may be in a position where I can actually set aside Friday evenings the day that I go off and play with my homies. But right now that's real tough for me to set that time aside.
Yeah, it was definitely
and that's I think that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tyler. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that was definitely kind of what worked out for us. Was like summertime, ain't a lot of things going on, and we just it was like we only played that game together. And then I think there was one point where I couldn't join, and they got a couple of levels ahead of me, so I had to grind by myself to catch up, and that was not fun at all. That sucked. But yeah, that definitely is the case. But we actually last summer went ahead. We all picked up the DLC, not the Rise of Iron. We picked up the 2 expansions, and what was the other one that came out the year before?
It was the Taken King, I think it was.
Taken King, and we played through that, and that was like that, and it was also with the new update that changed the whole leveling system.
Yep.
When they didn't give the light wasn't as big of a thing as it once was, and that whole leveling system. Once I got to level 20, and all that light system came in place, I totally lost interest in that game.
Yep.
And when they changed it around to make it just like a natural level up progression system like you play in every other RPG like game. That totally reinvigorated me, and I went and did a bunch of grinding by myself. Actually, it made it a little more fun that way, and also going through with obviously with the three of us was a lot of fun. And we haven't beat Rise of Iron yet. That's the one thing we need to finish off. I bought that and we haven't played it, but I'm still kind of on the fence with Destiny 2, where it's like it sounds like we're gonna be able to take care of our characters, and we better be able to take care of our characters. But yeah, they've got to prove to me they're going to be able to come out right off the bat. Like, it took them a couple years to get Destiny 1 right, and I hope they have learned their lessons with Destiny 1. I think they will, and they have. But I want to. Obviously, we haven't seen anything for this game yet, but I want to know more before I get any sort of hype or excitement comes from this. I want to know what they're going to do and what their plan is with Destiny 2. Like, after is this just going to be Destiny 2, like kind of like Destiny, where they give you like a season pass and it's too bullshit hour like 2 hours more of game content, makes you go through the same area you've already been through 1,000 times. Like, what's the plan with Destiny 2, and what's going to be an improvement on it? So that's just kind of like, I don't know. I am cautiously optimistic for this game, I guess. What about you, Gables?
Well, that's just the thing about me, is just like like the pure vanilla like Destiny, I went ahead and I played through it back when it first released and stuff. I did play through with a couple different types of builds of characters and stuff. But the thing is, playing Destiny by yourself, it sucks. Initially, when I went through the game as my commando and stuff like that, I just did not really have as much enjoyment as I would have, say, with a full-fledged, like, like a third-person, like, shooter game or something like that. But that's more or less because of how the story element was presented inside the game, structure-wise, like, back then. The gameplay portion, hey, the gameplay was fun. It's by Bungie. They made the Halo series. That's just the type of, like, structure I'm more or less used to, and sort of like their shooters. But it didn't really take them to, like, get really good, like, with portions of the game up until they started releasing, say, the Taken King and stuff like that. They had a couple of different types of DLC from, like, I think there was like a Catalyst or something like that. Then you had the Mark of the Wolves and stuff like that, which it's kind of like what Tyler said. They were just like little blips of like supposed DLCs, which added like some content. But in my personal opinion, having played through them, not only just by myself online, but also with like with Tyler and Jake and stuff, it kind of more or less reaffirmed that I pretty much did not really enjoy playing those games as much. But honestly, when it comes to Destiny 2, I have almost next to no interest inside Destiny 2 at the moment. I mean, I am not excited with it at all. I've never even bothered even wanting to go back just to go ahead and finish Taken King, or like go through like the Rise of Iron.
We didn't finish that.
We never finished Taken King. We got to the point where all of us got like the powers and stuff like that, but then, as luck would have it or something like that, I sold off my PS4 and everything else with it because I got so burnt out. But,
you have a PS4 again.
I know I have a PS4
We could play it.
again.
We could finish it.
Well, yeah, I could.
Come on, Gables.
Yeah,
he's busy playing his Wii U now.
Yeah, I'm actually enjoying myself with the Wii U.
I'm gonna fly out. I'm gonna fly out to your house. I'm gonna fucking smash your Wii U. Like, I'm gonna hand you a copy of Destiny.
Oh my god,
that's your punishment.
That would be the biggest nightmare of all time. Waking up and everything's destroyed and only a copy of fucking Destiny for the PS4.
You have a TV, a PS4, and a Smash Wii U, and a copy of Destiny. That's all you have. That's all you own. I'm gonna take your couch and your bed. You're gonna be sitting on the floor.
Crazy.
I'll give it back to you when you beat this game with me.
Oh my god. Well, I'm gonna chalk it up on my backlog of things to do. But
one of these days.
Yeah.
Or you just get Destiny 2 and you'll start all over again.
Oh.
There you go.
But
one of these days, Gables, we'll go back to the moon where the wizard is.
I did kind of like the little bits of like stuff where we would just randomly be playing Destiny online and stuff, and that whole like sequence of stuff of that we were talking to like the patriarch queen or something like that. Like that specific type of queen or someone, her brother would just pop in and stuff with a freaking cow looking like a fucking emo teen or something, and I'd be chiming in singing, "Hey, don't want to be an American idiot."
Yeah,
just every time.
Like the lead singer of Green Day. Yeah.
What's
Or then
hilarious?
the supercharged.
Oh, you're supercharged with your
That's
freaking
fun.
hunter. That was funny. Like every time
Nice.
this hunter would get like a supercharge or something like that for his power weapon, Tyler would just keep on yelling supercharge and just go and just ram into a bunch of enemies and get killed right immediately.
I just want to be like Charmander, you know.
I just want to be like fucking like Leroy Jenkins is what you want to be.
I'd rather be a Charmander than Leroy Jenkins. I got a fucking fire tail. It's awesome.
So all right, Tyler, we're gonna go ahead. We gotta take off this person in this one like not raid, but like this one strike mission. Supercharge! Like, god damn it, Leroy.
Hey, don't mock me now, damn it. It's awesome. Worked out. It's great. Pissed off Jake. It's a win-win.
We always piss off Jake whenever we play Destiny.
It was funny. I almost thought we got so mad at each other one time. I thought the show was over. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, because we were freaking playing online and stuff, and we were like, we were all right and stuff. We were enjoying ourselves, and then we constantly kept losing competitive battle after competitive battle, and I kept getting angry, and then all of a sudden it's like Jake's like, oh, like we're like, oh god.
Then Jake got angry because Gabe was getting angry. It was a weird situation.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to last topic. Surprisingly, Rocket League, not really surprising, I guess, it's still selling like gangbusters and everybody's still playing the game apparently, but Rocket League is getting more content. On February 21st, they are adding two Hot Wheel cars to the game for $2 a piece, and they come with their own decals, everything. I'm excited that Rocket League is still getting supported, but I'm at the point now where I bought all their stuff they sold, and I kind of want more content game-wise to play than I do want more cars to play as. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I mean, for God's sakes, man, all that Rocket League stuff from... they did add in a bunch of different types of tracks for, like, what? For, like,
they had, like, the hockey one and the basketball one last March.
Well, the basketball one wasn't so bad, but it's kind of hard
Where
to
do you
play.
go from here? You know, how do they add content to Rocket League outside of cars and new sports? And even then, you're running out of sports options.
I said this a while back. I don't know if I ever said it on the show, but I know when we were playing the game, I would like to see like Rocket League, like with a pool table type situation.
Huh.
Yeah, or even like maybe bowling.
Yeah.
Just set up some pins, you know, and you're driving, take them all out. Or, I don't know, maybe paintball or something. Like they got all the barriers spread across the field, and you got to kind of sneak around, capture the flag sort of thing.
Dodgeball
Dodgeball would be pretty dope.
Just throwing a huge random fucking ball with a bunch of cars. That'd be kind of funny.
I'll like pay like $5 for like these add-on games or something. I just want a reason to go back to Rocket League, you know?
Have any of them actually caught on, though? Like, I feel like the vanilla soccer cars is kind of where it's at. Like, and maybe people play the other game modes for a little while, but
the hockey
when
mode
it comes
is pretty
down
sweet.
to it,
I think the hockey mode caught on, at least with the Talking Ship group and everything. That caught on for quite a bit. And then they add like you can make your own game types, and like you can like do like low gravity and things like that. But I thought the basketball thing did not. Like, we played that for like a week, and then like, let's go back to regular.
That basketball thing really wasn't that great, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it's hard to play because you got to really time the jumps just correctly so you can hit the ball and like just go into the basket, and it ends up becoming like an entire match of going back and forth. Oh, let's see who can score the basket, just like randomly off chance or something. But I know from playing certain things competitively for both like the Xbox One version and the PS4 version, it's like hardly anybody's going on to play the basketball or some bits of the other like mutators of like hockey or maybe a few games here and there, but it's normally just a regular vanilla like Rocket League soccer stuff, which most people are doing.
soccer.
Yeah,
that's where it's at. I think they caught lightning in a bottle with that game, and like trying to come up with new expansions or new ideas, I think is going to be kind of tough to do. I mean, I think the big appeal of that game is car soccer, and car soccer is where it's at, and if you're kind of getting bored with that, you're just going to have to go and find another game. I don't know how much more there is to that formula to really expand it and breathe new life into it.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. I guess I just want a reason. I love Rocket League so much that I want a reason to go back to it. Mm-hmm. And I don't
go
know.
play car soccer.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got these fundamental games, like you look at like Dota or League of Legends or Overwatch or Counter-Strike, like these games that have been around forever and people continue to play forever.
That's
And you know, they don't ever change, but that's the thing, is you play them and you get good at them and you just enjoy it for what it is. I mean, if they make big changes to Dota, like there's a huge fallout, you know,
Yeah,
like people
true.
don't want that game to change much. And I feel like Rocket League is probably one of those games that's just gonna continue to be what it is. It's going to be car soccer, and you know, maybe you'll get bored with that from time to time, but I feel like it's one of those games that you can probably jump back into after you've taken a break and just enjoy it, because it does that so well. Like it is car soccer to the nth degree.
Damn it, Troy, you're right.
I mean, you can look at it and you like, you know, brain tease yourself like, oh, well, what else could they do? And we have all these options that we came up with, you know, like car pinball, you know, but really, how interesting would that really be for the long run? I think it'll always come back to car soccer, because car soccer is something that, I mean, Top Gear's done it like a million times, because it's a draw, and then soccer has kind of an international appeal, so then you don't have to worry about, you know, alienating some, you know, of the player base. So you're guaranteed with car soccer to have the largest cross section of people all over the world playing the game, so you have no problem, you know, with long queues or waiting for a game to start up. I mean, if they do American football, you know, Rocket League, then that's going to cut down your player base like hugely. Like, you know, less people around the world are going to be interested in playing, you know, American rules football, car soccer, you know, car football, or, you know, car rugby or anything like that. I think with car soccer, like, one, the mechanics are there, the premise is there, you know, they've perfected it. And, you know, just trying to put this premise and attach it to another game, you're cutting your player base, you know, into smaller and smaller pieces each time, and you're kind of doing it subpar. You know, you're not doing it as well as you did car soccer. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, all good points. Good points. Don't like them, but they're good points. Damn it.
But it's, I mean, if you just think about it, it's like, like, what do you want from it? And then whatever you want from it will be cool for a little while, but then you'll get tired of it, and everybody will go back to car soccer.
Yeah, that's true. God damn it.
Because that's where it's at.
It is really good. It is really good. But anyways, I think that might just wrap up the show for the week. Before we get out of here, if you guys want to hear more from us, we do have a Facebook page and group. It is Drunk Dash Nerds, so join and like those pages. I always post on there whenever the show goes up. They're always on there with a link to the Lipson account, or the link to the show, I guess. On Twitter, we are at Drunk Nerds Pod, so follow us on there. Also put up whenever the show goes up. And also on Twitch, we are Drunk Nerds Podcast. So follow us on there. I did actually little things before the show with some people from another podcast. When I do a little more of that with them, I'm gonna go ahead and start streaming on there, and I'll let you guys know. I'll try to get more of a regular schedule if things slow down here a little bit with work. And on YouTube, we are Drunk Dash Nerds on there. So subscribe to us on there. And the podcast obviously goes up there too, so you might know that if you're listening to us on YouTube. Check us out on iTunes. Give us a thumbs up on both of those places. Give us a 5-star review actually on iTunes, and give us a review. We'll shout you out. I'll give you Gables' credit card number. It's a win-win for everybody, especially Gables.
We'll give you his Wii U.
Yeah, I'll give you.
So that he's forced to play Destiny.
Yeah, no. I'll give you his. And the third person that gives a 5-star review, I'll give you his chair. Fourth person gets his bed. Just the box spring though. I gotta spread this shit out. But also, before I forget,
what size is your bed? I need a queen size box spring. My queen size box spring's been broke forever. Like the bottom of it broke out. So what I did was I flipped the box spring upside down.
Oh wow!
And the problem with that is then I've got these like jagged pieces of wood that are sticking out of the top of the box spring. So I like laid like a couple towels down to like keep them from puncturing my mattress. Oh, no. But yeah, that's what I got to go with, man. I need a new box spring.
So just be the third person to this week to give us a review, preferably 5 stars, and you got yourself a box spring. Is it queen size, Gables? You didn't
No,
answer.
I don't have a queen size box spring.
Okay.
Twin?
Well,
and it's on a twin either.
King? Single?
I can't afford a fucking California king.
I didn't say California king. I just asked king. There's different
Just
kinds
king.
of
No,
kings.
no.
Is it single?
No, it's full size.
Full size? Okay, there you go. Just add, maybe like just cut some shit up. Maybe make.
What is
like,
it? Is queen's probably like 2 twin size, right? Like if you took 2 twin size,
I
you could probably
think
make
so.
1 queen.
Yeah, I believe so. That's how it works. Because I think
Yeah.
I have a queen.
Maybe it's just time to upgrade. Maybe I need a California king.
I don't like California king is like the wide one, isn't it? It's not very long. It's just wide.
It's extra wide and extra long,
Is
I
it?
think. Isn't it?
I think it's just
Possibly.
extra wide, and it's like it's not very long.
Normal length.
Yeah.
Huh.
Because like
I don't
my
know.
parents have one, and it's like it's more of a rectangle. It's
Aren't they all rectangles?
Well, no, it's like. Damn it, you're right.
I've
more-
not come across a bed that was not, unless it was like heart shaped.
It's more of a rhombus shape.
It's a hexagon. I need a hexagon bed.
There we go.
Tyler's always had like
To make that
triangle
happen.
fucking beds his whole life.
I've always slept on an octagon shaped one, but it's weird. You guys are fucking weird with your rectangle shaped ones.
What is this rectangle shaped bed?
Well, I don't know. I said I don't know. I don't know what kind of shape. It's weird though. It's like I don't know how they like. I don't know how you guys fucking deal with that. They deal with that with the California king ones. Anyways, now I feel like an idiot. You guys have a lovely rest of your day, evening. I'm awkwardly ending the show. I don't know what to say anymore. Anyways, thank you guys
I hope
so
we
much
covered
for
everything.
listening. I was Tyler.
I have been Gables.
I am Troy.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So go ahead and cut me out of him saying it, and I'll say I am Troy.
I might just like layer all three of us on top of each other with that.
We just all say it at the same
All say it at
time.
one time. Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3. I am Troy.
All right. Well, thanks anyways, guys. Thanks again for listening, guys, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace out.
Anyways. Excuse me. You too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.